I'm going to tell you how I got here now. I hope you don't mind, because it's very important to me. One Friday afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia, my life changed forever. With one single cup of coffee, my life changed. My dad was a sod drunk alcoholic. I swore I'd never be that. The guy put crystal meth in my coffee on a Friday afternoon. No, it wasn't funny. And about 10 minutes after I'd done that, I said, that's what I've been looking for my whole life. This shit's good. I went down the interstate in Atlanta. I was talking to people out the sunroof, wanting to change people's tires. And then the come down came. And I said, I'll never do that again. Biggest lie I ever told myself. Because after that one time, I became a full-blown drug addict. I did meth, cocaine, religiously, constantly, all the time. It became all part of my life until I lost everything I had. I ended up living in Jacksonville, Florida, teaching classes for a guy I used to call the damn refrigerator Nazi, because I lived with him and I didn't have no money to eat on. He'd come home, take damn inventory in the refrigerator. Oh, looks like you had a pot pie today of mine. You know, this shit is awful. And some 30 years ago, on a hot afternoon in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, I tried to take my life. As I was perched on a bridge with traffic backed up forever, because I didn't live anymore. I lost everything I had. I was an addict, and I didn't want to be an addict. For 6 hours, I was perched there trying to get the courage up to go. And by the grace of God, I did not. A friend of mine flew me home. And I was sitting in a double-wide trailer, 477 Crow Springs Road, in shag carpet that you can make snow angels in. That's how thick it was. And there was a CMA Awards came on, and Vince Gill had won a Song of the Year for a song called When I Call Your Name, 1991. And I turned around and looked at my mother, and she was crying like you never saw a woman. I said, Mama, why are you crying for? She said, because I'd give anything in the world to meet Vince Gill. He's got the prettiest damn eyelashes I've ever seen. I said, you want to meet Vince Gill? I can set that up. She said, you can't sing Amazing Grace nor Silent Night. How are you going to set up meeting Vince Gill? I said, Mama, you want to meet Vince Gill, I'll make it happen. 2 weeks later, I went to the Country Music Showcase in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'll tell you, y'all know who this is. The night I went to the showcase, another fella was on the show with me. His name was Mark Wills. And Mark is a member of the Grand Ole Opry now. And I'm a member at Sam's Club. So it didn't work out as well as I thought. But that night, I won the amateur night. And I called my mom and I said, I think I did something right, Mom. I think I did something right. And she said, it's about damn time. A couple of weeks later, she gave me $400 and bought me a Toyota Love Truck. If you remember the Love Trucks, I'm sure you do. Bench seat, sheet metal where the speakers go was missing, but no speakers, no radio, no defrost. And I took off to Nashville on a journey. And for 3 years, I went back and forth, and I did everything I could do to work. I wrote songs. I did everything I could. I was pretty much homeless. I slept in a walk-in closet at a buddy of mine's house on an air mattress. I'd go to the YMCA, pay $1, take a shower, and I'd get in that car, and I'd go back and forth up and down Music Road trying to get heard. I'll never forget, I had that blow-up mattress in my walk-in closet. I picked up a girl that ran track for Vanderbilt. I thought, damn it, it was really the first skinny girl I'd ever been with. And got her home, fixed to throw it to her, and I went in there to the closet, my down there mattress was flat. I tried to blow it up with that Red Max blow dryer I was telling y'all about, and hell, it melted, the hosel melted into the carpet, and she left, and so I didn't get, story of my life, didn't get laid again. The ice storm came through, and I hope you guys remember. Yeah, we wanted to pull that microphone out here. The ice storm came through in 1994. Y'all remember, it was bad. And I was driving home in that old Toyota pickup truck. I'll never forget, as long as I live, I was scraping the windshield with a Mark Chestnut CD. And it was Mark's first single, and the single said, "Too cold at home." And I thought, it's damn too cold in this truck too, Mark. You just wouldn't believe. And I got to my buddy's house, and 3 days later, I got frostbite on these 3 fingers. I almost, the doctor thought I'd probably lose a couple of these fingers. All these fingernails came off, and it was on that night, on a Sunday night, I called my mom and I said, "I can't do it no more. Come and get me." She said, "Well, that's not like you to quit." And I said, "I am hungry. I ain't got no food. I ain't got no clothes. My clothes are filthy. Come and get me." And if she hadn't said, "Are you sure?" twice, I would have never heard what came on that transistor radio on the table right beside me. Tim McGraw came up with a song called "Indian Outlaw." And God said, "I'm going to give you a parody." I didn't know what a parody was. And I started singing, "They're my Indian in-laws came to visit me in my squaw. Been here for a month, y'all. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm sick and tired of her paw-paw eating all of my bear claws while he's watching old hee-haw and drinking all my wine." And I said, "Shit, Mom, I got to call you back. That's pretty good." I went and borrowed $300 from a fellow by the name of T. Graham Brown, the great singer. I went to the studio, recorded the song, sent it out on cassette. 199 radio stations out of 200 played the shit out of that thing, and my career took off like gangbusters. You wouldn't believe it. I started making money. I started touring. I started doing great things. Still snorting cocaine. Still an active drug addict. But and it was really bad when you make your money and you're a drug addict. That's dangerous. But I was going wide open. You wouldn't believe it. And I came home after being on tour with, I forgot who I was with. It might have been Chesney or somebody. And there was this answer machine. And I hit this answer machine that said, "Hey, Cletus, we need you to come and play in a golf tournament at the Hermitage Golf Course this weekend, tomorrow. Can you do it?" And I said, I felt like I was entitled at this point. I started making money. My life felt like it mattered. I was highfalutin, and I said, "I ain't coming. I ain't interested in coming." She said, I'll tell you what we'll do. If you'll come and do this, we'll put you on the ACM Awards and let you be a presenter. And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." I go to the Hermitage Golf Course Monday morning, looking down the wall, and all the guys will know what I'm talking about, 1A, 2A, 3A. I get down to 16B. Jeff Gossett, Chris Tate, Cletus T. Judd, Vince Gill. I thought, oh yeah, now's my chance. My buddy Jeff said, "I'm riding with Vince." I said, "Bullshit. I've got starved to death, lost fingers and everything else. I'll beat you with a 6-iron. I'm riding with Vince." I rode with Vince Gill that entire day, and I told him that whole story about Mom wanting to meet him. And I said, "Would you do a video with me?" And he said, "Absolutely. Count me in." And I forgot the day, my mama sent me to Nashville in an old Toyota Love truck. And 5 years later, I bought Mama and Myrna and everybody else to Nashville in a limousine long as this stage. And we went to the video shoot, and there was a knock on the door. And my director said, "Moselle, why don't you get that door?" And she said, "Why me?" And he said, "Just get the door." With every step my mother took, I remembered how hard it was to do what I had done, and that I was only steps away from success. And my mother got to the door, and she opened that door, And there stood Vince Gill. And I said, I told you, Mama, you'd meet him one day. And she jumped up in his arms and stuck her tongue that far down his throat. That far. And I never did think that Vince would speak to me again, but he did. My mother was my biggest fan. They called her Lord God, and I never could figure out why they called my mother Lord God. My buddy, he said, watch her smoke a cigarette and you'll know why they call her Lord God. And my mother, you go to my mom and dad's house and they smoke so much, you look like a Def Leppard concert in there. It just, damn smoke. When the ceiling fan, it had them, what's them things, the white stuff that comes off an airplane when it's flying out your whatever. When the fan is going around, that nicotine just be following it. Yeah, that's what it was. And them fan blades is just tired. They're just tired. They just barely go around. And my mom called me one day. I was doing a show in Memphis. She said, son, you got to get home. And I said, well, what is it? She said, you have got to get home. She said, the paparazzi, now that your careers took off, the paparazzi's camped outside the house. They got cameras out here on tripods, shit set up. They got cones in the yard. Traffic's having to go around. She said, it's ugly. They're trying to take pictures of me in my nightgown. She said, get out here, bring them 8 by 10s, and let's make us some money. I told my tour manager, I said, I'm going home. This is a big deal. I never thought the paparazzi would be in my little hometown trying to take pictures of me after I've done good, and I drove all the way home. I went through Memphis. I went through Nashville. I went through Chattanooga. I got a speeding ticket at Monteagle. I came down into Dalton, Georgia, and I called all my buddies, and I said, go to Lord God's house. The paparazzi's there. We're getting in the Enquirer. I drove off Caswide exit, come around the corner, got to Mama's house, and I'd be a son of a bitch if they wasn't surveying land. I said, Mama, she said, Lord God, I didn't know. And Lord God, the cigarette thing was because she didn't smoke cigarettes, she made love to them. Like she'd put them in them old yellow fingernails and she'd finally get that old pale male up in there and she'd suck on that thing like you ain't never seen it. And then when she'd get done smoking it, she'd go, Lord God. She'd make sweet tea so much damn sugar in it, you go into a diabetic coma when you drink it. It's unbelievable. And hey, she's the only woman that's got an assault charge on her in my hometown because the dentist told her she was fixing to feel a small prick in her mouth, and she whooped his ass. She didn't know what they meant. We was sitting on the front porch when my career first started, and we lived close to a golf course, about 30 minutes from 3 miles from a golf course, true as I can tell it. And she's sitting there with a big pale mail in her hand, and there's this big sod truck going to the golf course with a load of sod. I mean sod everywhere, hanging off the side, sod. And I noticed Mama was just staring at that sod truck. And I said, Mama, what in the world? Why are you staring at that sod truck? She said, when you hit it big, we're going to send our yard out and get it cut. She had no clue. We put her some windows in her house one time. I came home and on her answer machine, it's flashing, and it said, Miss Rutledge, you need to come down here and pay for these windows. And I said, Mom, I gave you the money to pay for them. What happened? She said, I'm not paying shit. I said, I gave you the money. She said, the man that put them in said they paid for themselves in 12 months. I got 3 months left. You can't make it up. I wish you could. You can't make it up. I took her to a CMA Awards in 2000 and something. I forgot what it was, 2003 or 4. And we were sitting there in the aisle, and this guy walks down. He introduces himself, and he says, hi. I said, my name's Barry or Cletus. And he said, nice to meet you. And I said hello to my mom, and my mom said, give me your cell phone. Oh shit, give me your cell phone. And I said, why? She said, give me your cell phone. She called her friend Myrna up. She said, Myrna, you ain't gonna believe it. She said, I just met Charlie Pride. Hell, it was Darius Rucker from Hootie and them Little Fish. She didn't have a clue. None. I'll tell you this, and then I'll try not to keep y'all too long because there's a couple more things I want to hit on. But she loved the Atlanta Braves. My mother did. God rest her soul. She loved the Atlanta Braves. And Chipper Jones, Paul McCartney told me one time never to name drop, but Chipper Jones was a great friend of my family's. He was good to my mother, the All-Star Hall of Famer from the Atlanta Braves, and my mother. He was so good to my mom. He loved my mom to death. And the last game before he retired, he was playing against St. Louis, and my mom watched every game, and so she was watching it, and she fell asleep in the ninth inning, and she woke up, she couldn't tell if the Braves had won or lost. And so she starts looking for the remote control to turn the TV to Sports Center to find out if Chipper had won or not. She can't find the remote nowhere. She tears the house apart, calls up my niece, Amy, lives next door. Says, Amy, get over here, somebody broke the house, stole the remote control. Get over here, gotta get over here, somebody stole my remote. They can't find the remote control nowhere. All day Monday, she looks for that damn remote control. All day Tuesday, she looks for that remote and can't find it. Finally, Wednesday morning, she goes into the refrigerator and she pulls open that door and she lays down to get her a grapefruit out of the produce tray right here. And when she laid down to pull that door open, that remote control fell out from under her left kitty. Damn thing been on there for 3 days. I told her, I said, I've lost my car keys before, but now I ain't gonna get into that right now. I'll tell you this right here. I told you just a minute ago that there's 2 things here tonight that saved my life. One being that basketball, and the other one, old redhead that's sitting out here somewhere, my daughter. I don't know where she's at. She's here. As I was in full-blown addiction for all those years, I knew that the demise of my career was coming to an end. The shows are getting smaller. That's why I'm so blessed to look around and see all y'all here. It's really appreciated from me, I can promise you. But I knew the first time I'd ever come to this theater was in 2003. And Caitlin and I's mom, we had been divorced and we were still friends, and I came up here to support her as she sang one night here, and I was sitting right back here on this corner, and she sang, and after the show she's like, oh, I can't believe you came up. I said, yeah, I just want to come and support you, you know. And she said, well, where are you staying at? And I said, well, I've got a room, and we'll stay over here at the Ashland Plaza. And she said, well, that's awesome. She said, I'll come over and hang out with you and sit and we'll catch up. Well, that $160 room cost me $250,000 in child support, I'm just going to tell you. So, man, if you're wanting to get a room tonight, it ain't happening, I can tell you. But I knew that the demise of the career, it was coming to an end, and I had to do something to take care of my daughter. She was born September 11, 2004, and I took a job in Tampa, Florida. It was the hardest thing that I'd ever went through in my entire life. I would work 3 weeks in Tampa. I would drive to my mom's 500 miles, see my mother. I'd drive 400 miles to here, spend time with Caitlin. We'd get a hotel up in Russell. I'd hang with her. I'd live like there was no tomorrow, try to catch up for all that mess. And then I would get in the car, and there were times that on more than one occasion, I knocked the side window out of my car because of the pain. It just hurt so bad to leave her. But I had to make a living for her, and I did that every 3 weeks for almost 7 years, I think. I never missed a week of coming here. And as I was in Tampa on one afternoon, my boss came in and he said, hey, take a look at this envelope. I didn't think nothing about it. I took it home, played golf that day, came in that night and opened it up. And it was a contract for 5 years for $2 million. And I screamed, yelled, kicked, hollered, and I called all my buddies in Georgia and I said, I'm rich. Come on, get out here. Let's hit it. We'll spend every nickel of it. They came down, had a great weekend, then they all left. And I was left in a house by myself, about this big, with nothing but pictures. And I started counting on my right hand. Well, if I stay 5 more years, I'm going to miss first grade, second grade. I'm going to miss that daddy-daughter dance that's coming up in a few weeks. And I would lay there in my bed and I go, God, I got a couple $100,000 in the bank. I'll give it to the mission if you'll figure out a way for me not to miss any of this stuff. And the answer was always no. Because see, once the memory has passed, no amount of money that we accumulate can buy that memory back. And I was tired of that. And I took that envelope the morning I was supposed to go to work. $2 million. Just an old boy from Georgia with a lot of willpower. And I took that envelope and I signed on the contract. You're worth more than what's in this envelope. And I signed it, dated it, and I put it in our hope chest where it still sits today. And that's how I ended up coming to Ashland, Kentucky. My daughter saw that contract and she said, damn, Dad, we could work something out. Shit. I wouldn't be in this Chrysler 200M right now if you'd have stayed 5 more years. But I was not going to show you this. Have you got that video ready? Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to play you one more video. And I debated on whether to do it or not. But when Caitlin was born in 2004, and I'll start wrapping this up because I don't want to keep y'all all night because I got to go to Sandy's and hit them damn slot machines. Still being in active addiction, 2004, I was at Vanderbilt Hospital, and Caitlin was born. I had $1,500 cash in this pocket, and I had a ½ ounce of cocaine in this pocket. And when Caitlin was born, my nerves were shot, and I thought, I've got to go use, I've got to get some relief. And I went into the bathroom at Vanderbilt Hospital on the 6th floor maternity ward, and I'll never forget as long as I live. I took a quarter that I had in my hand, and I had that bag of dope in my other hand, and I reached into that bag to use in this cold, dark-ass bathroom, stainless steel floor, tile floors, tile missing, and I dug that quarter into that cocaine. And all of a sudden, I knew somebody was looking at me. And I thought, I'm busted. It's over. And I turned around and looked. And it was me looking at me in that mirror. And it was the most ugliest, disfigured person that I had ever seen. And I'll never forget, I said, you're a sorry bastard if you could store cocaine 40 feet from a gift that God gave you. You don't deserve a kid. And I took that bag of cocaine, ½ ounce, $1,500 worth, and I slung it up against the wall as hard as I could. And cocaine went everywhere in that bathroom. And I got down on my knees as a successful man making a lot of money. And I had my hands in a toilet water, slinging it on the wall, throwing it on the wall, trying to get the cocaine to wash down the drain. And I thought, you know what? While I'm down here, I think I'm going to ask for just a little bit of help. And I prayed to God, God, I need a little help. I don't want to do this ever again. I can't look in the eyes of my child as an addict and be a father. And it was at that moment I dropped that quarter on the floor. I don't know the significance at all, but I watched that quarter go round and round and round on that cold tile floor. And it kept going around and round. And I said to myself, when it stops, so do I. I picked up the quarter, I put it in my wallet, And as of September 11th this past year, I celebrated 20 years of sobriety.